FromSoftware is probably the most influential game developer in recent years, due to their very popular Souls series and various Soul-adjacent games, where you, the player, are expected to die a lot, get good, and then die a little less. RPGing it up in vast fantasy worlds where everything is out to get you, with Demon's Souls kicking things off, slowly gaining a cult following, one that would lead to much anticipation for the more polished follow-up Dark Souls, which exploded in popularity. That shit was everywhere. All over YouTube, people bragging about the bosses they've soloed and all sorts of self-imposed handicaps they've beaten the game with. A game of such stature quickly led to other developers taking notes and picking up on some of the development philosophies used throughout the game and the handful to come out after it. It would seem that since then FromSoft has just been cruising on this success. But now that I think about it, FromSoft has been on this difficult and dense, esoteric fantasy RPG shit for a long time now. Pretty much since day one when Kingsfield jumped in the scene, showcasing mind-boggling effects via the spectacular PS1. It's not too far off from what they're putting out today. And a lot of the games in between more or less use those same core ideas, which isn't bad. It just means they have a lot of great games that are kinda in their own lane. If you like one, chances are you'll like all the others. The girls that get it, and the girls who don't. But among their output over the years, there is a series that is very near and dear to my heart, as it was my first interaction with any FromSoftware game. Lost Kingdoms is the name, and cards are the game. In the game. There are cards in the game. You throw them and monsters come out. It's like Yu-Gi-Oh, but not like Yu-Gi-Oh at the same time. The game kicks off in the land of Arguile, a continent slowly being consumed by a thick cloud of black fog, taking countless towns and lives as it floats along. No one really knows what it is or what caused its appearance, but they do know that this fog could mean the end of all life on Arguile. After many years of isolation, the 5 kingdoms that make up the continent come together in these desperate times in order to come up with a solution. Which brings us to Alan-J Castle, where we meet the baddest bitch to ever do it, Miss Princess Katia, who is babysitting the castle in the absence of her father, King whatever his name is. He set out on a quest across the continent in order to speak with the 4 other rulers about the Black Fog, leaving his daughter at the castle to protect the Runestone, a magical rock that every kingdom keeps. Unfortunately, the Black Fog shows up to the party a little earlier than they said they would. We haven't even busted out the party mix yet. With no real plan for what to do, we grab the precious runestone and follow some old lady we've never met. This is Gerd, and she is your guide to the world of Lost Kingdoms, kinda breathing down your neck and feeding you tutorial tidbits as you explore the Baybee level. Later on, she runs the apothecary where you can buy and sell cards, and even upgrade the ones you already have if they've gained enough experience points. Between the main levels, she gives side quests, which took me until the last level to realize she did this, so I was a little OP while completing all the optional stuff. Gerd's the homie though. Anyway, after you learn all that can be learned about playing children's card games, Gerd convinces you to catch up with your father as he needs a runestone guardian to protect him. You follow his tracks to King Zelnan's castle, which is currently in the process of being ransacked by a mysterious woman cosplaying as the Dark Magician. She's looking for the runestone and does not hesitate to attack us for walking in on business. And after some wrestling, she leaves without the runestone, making her way towards the other 3 kingdoms. Who was that lady? Why is she stealing runestones? Does she have something to do with the fog? We have a lot of questions and not a whole lot of answers. But preventing her from taking all the runestones seems like a good idea for the time being, and hopefully along the way we can put an end to the black fog. Yeah, so you kinda just follow Mystery Girl around the continent, keeping an eye out for your father. Oop, that was quick. Slowly adding stronger cards to your deck and fighting off baddies along the way, all while running away from the black fog that is still making its way across Argyle. During your quest to save the world, you tour through all the different regions of Argyle, the continent being much more diverse than you would think, ranging from medieval sewer systems to haunted cathedrals, crystal caves to fucking hell, Satan's domain, eternal damnation. Most of them are pretty neat looking. I really like the evil forest towards the end of the game. It's filled with these dead trees and giant mushrooms, all behind this calm yet slightly unsettling blue-green tint. Winding paths that twist and turn and eventually cross each other, making it easy to get lost. I also like the woods of the giant bees because it has a cute little valley with long-ass ladders on either side. There's just something about long ladders in video games that are so charming. Then there are a few that are super boring. Like, there's a level that's just an open field. That's it. Nothing else to offer. But I guess in the grand scheme of things, the areas aren't the most important part of the game. It's the battles that take place there that really matter. With Katya's runestone, you can use cards to summon monsters to fight on your behalf. These cards are shoved into one of three categories: weapon, independent, and summon. Weapon cards are pretty self-explanatory. Use card and a monster swings a weapon or throws its body at the enemy. Independent cards are monsters that will stay on the field and do whatever it is they do. Some will engage in combat while others will stay out of the way and support from the sidelines, be it with healing, buffs, or debuffs. Then you have trap monsters who will stay where you threw their card until an unlucky monster happens to walk nearby, setting it off for big damage. Summon cards are kind of like weapon cards in that they won't stay on the field long after the card has been used. There are summon cards that do a single attack, albeit one stronger than most weapon cards can produce. There are others that can heal you or even return discarded monsters back into your deck when you're running low. Every card costs a certain amount of magic stones to use. Weapon cards tend to be cheaper to use than other types. You get these magic stones by landing attacks and defeating enemies during combat, though sometimes you'll find yourself all out, and in this case your hit points will be used instead, which can get a little risky when you're using cards with higher costs. But I'm a big boy, so I can handle it. Battles in the game are random with a select few being scripted. All of them annoying as hell though. Not the battles themselves, but due to the fact that they almost always trigger right when you're trying to do something. Whether it be solving a puzzle or walking over to open a chest. Luckily, the encounter rate isn't stupidly high, it just has awful timing. Bosses come up at the end of most levels, and there are two types. Majority of the fights are with beefy monsters that you can't find in regular battles, usually with it taking place in a spacious arena while all their henchmen waddle around in your way as you try to fight. A lot of them can and will give you a run for your money, but I wouldn't say that any of them were unfair or too difficult. Then you have the runestone wielder matches where you go head to head with the Dark Magician, each time with a new deck of stronger cards. These fights are pretty cool, minus the fact that she will spam summon cards, each with their own animation that plays in full every time the card is used. I mean, the same animations play when I use the card, but I don't abuse them like she does. The novelty of having a boss that is Dark Link-esque quickly runs dry after a few of those summon cards. I found the fights with her to be very underwhelming. Like, it's a fun idea, but I don't know. The devs set her up with some lame ass cards, so I never felt like she could fuck me up. Outside of all the card stuff, there's a dope world for you to explore, NPCs to talk to, sometimes. They're not always present, but when they are, it's nice to chat with them and learn all about the happenings in Argyle. In most levels, there are usually some sort of gimmick or puzzle that you need to work with in order to make progress or even find rare cards that will strengthen your deck. Like, there's a fountain in the fucked village you go to, and you have to turn a valve with the right combination to drain the water, allowing you to get the card hiding at the bottom. The card ends up being one of the most useless ones in the entire game, right next to the golden goose that literally does nothing except for running around the field. But at least we like him. Maelstrom is just an abomination. There's also neat bridge puzzles, gross sciencey tubes for those who want more experience points, haunted wells, you know, that type of stuff. Some levels even have cute little side quests. Back to the bee forest with Ladder Valley. Although Gerd sent you there to kill all the bees, you can fuck around and break these overgrown chicken eggs, forcing Mama Bird to come out of hiding so you can kick her ass after murdering her unhatched babies. Real simple stuff, but well appreciated. I like that it provides opportunities to backtrack so that the levels aren't just A to B all the time. My only complaint is that you have to be careful not to accidentally complete the main objective, because once you finish a level, you cannot go back until you finish the game. I guess as you travel through all these areas, the black fog is following behind you closely, so you don't really get a chance to go back and do all the things you missed once a place gets swallowed up. It makes sense in the game world, but it's still kind of frustrating for me. As you go through all the levels and do all the side content, over time you'll amass a bunch of cards that you can use to trick out your deck. Experimenting with the cards you just picked up off the ground or captured during battles, testing card synergy, effectiveness against that one enemy you really hate dealing with. There's a bunch of cards that support all sorts of playstyles. For most of my playthrough, I didn't really use a deck with any sort of rhyme or reason, mostly just using whatever cards needed experience points in order to be transformed into another card I didn't have at the time. Just trying to get at least one copy of every card before I settle into a particular style. Though during the early game I was really thinking about a poison deck, but I soon realized that there aren't a whole lot of decent poison cards. So towards the end I ditched that idea and went with an uber small cheater deck filled with turtle boys and skeletons, and just refreshed my deck after I used them up over and over again. It was a little boring, but it worked so well on the last level, so I can't even complain. That stage was giving me hell. Overall, Lost Kingdoms has such a neat little battle system. I mean, it's a little rough around the edges, and I don't think the cards are as balanced as they should be. There are cards that you absolutely should use and others that don't really fit nicely into any deck, and would be a waste of a slot. Battles can be very slow, especially with some of the monster AI being, well. But it's very simple to get the hang of and gives a lot of room for you to do your own thing. I would say that Lost Kingdoms 2 is much more polished, but this isn't bad. I don't think you could ever go wrong with card combat. There's just something special about it. Something about the collecting aspect and the fact that you get so much freedom to customize your build and playstyle, more so than other games that offer player-chosen builds. I might just be alone in thinking that, but I truly think they're neat and I wish more of them would get developed. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that I need Squeenix to make a Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories too.